automatically putting Isabelle at low tier because not a lot of people are using the character, and then when they do show up, they get kind of bodied by one of the best players in the world, and people are like, they suck. But I think that she has some stuff.
I am not in the bucket of people who believes that she has stuff.
You think she's bottom tier?
I don't think she has much, but I mean, we can just sort of see basically as the match goes on here. So, in a situation like this, for example, Lucina technically has the option to sort of just jump in with her own fares to shield Isabelle's fares. Isabelle doesn't really have any options that beat shield, basically. She has her own grab, but her grab is pretty laggy and very punishable, and also very short range to beat.
Yeah. She has the hook, which is a command grab. But unlike other command grabs, and this is what I think actually kind of breaks the character, like in the bad way. Like it's like a make or break moment, or in terms of her design. And she throws out the hook. Now, if that hook was like a command grab and you couldn't shield it, I think that would completely change where people put Isabelle.
Oh no,
Imagine
of course.
If you couldn't block that side B.
She would probably be busted, honestly. As a matter of fact, she would be busted.
She'd be like a top 3 character in the game. But because you can shield it, as you said, she has trouble dealing with shield. You saw it again right there. If you just shield her stuff, or if you just trade with her forward air, it looks like a projectile, but it's like an aerial, which kind of confuses people. But a lot of times you can just put out aerial hitbox and just stop the rock.
Yeah, and actually there was another example right there, like how Shamoo sort of just used down tilt in order to get rid of the Lloyd rocket. Basically, in situations like that, versus certain characters, Isabelle barely has time to set up the Lloyd rocket, and then when she does set it up, it's pretty much gone without doing much of anything. So those can be rough situations, but on the other hand, what Devy's doing well here is he's using the fishing rod basically when people are off stage. He's using Isabelle's sort of ledge trapping ability, which is significantly better than her on-stage presence and generally where the character seems to want to be.
Yeah, I think that it goes for a very fully committed edge guard, and doesn't work out for him, but he's still in control right now.
Good stuff there. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Basically, even if the rocket itself doesn't necessarily do anything, then you can also use it in order to bait and put on pressure afterwards, because if people go for an option that's too aggressive really quickly afterwards, then you can immediately attack them. And basically, Devy tries to do that there, but doesn't work out this time because, again, Shamoo just shields.
Yeah, he's not falling for a lot of the gimmicks. So that's one of the things. Like, I think the more you know about Isabelle, the easier it is to kind of handle her. And even if you don't, if you're just like a solid player with solid fundamentals, you can kind of like work your way around the character.
Ooh!
Oh my goodness, that's probably death.
And it is.
Yeah, that was, I think that what we saw was like some end-game thinking right there from Shamoo. Like he spent a large portion of the game just kind of letting Isabelle shield, and then at the last stock situation, he was like, okay, you like shielding? Hold this neutral B.
Yep, no, that was very good from Shamoo. Just in general, I feel like Devy played pretty well. What I'd like to see from Shamoo more in the next matches, is I'd like to see him start shielding more. I'd like to see him just honestly abuse shield, because there were rarely any situations where he had to drop shield, where it was like, oh, well, if this situation I really need to drop shield, etc., 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 or oh, I need to spot dodge out of this, just abuse shield a little bit more. And use platforms in order to sort of restore shield after, the projectiles have whittled it down, things of that nature. But on the other end, from Devy, honestly, I want to see him continue to play his sort of excellent ledge game and not necessarily guess on when to go in with Isabelle. I'd rather see something retreating from him because Isabelle does have powerful moves when the opponent's trying to get in, but you have to let them think that they can get in first.
Yeah, he goes for this this interesting setup that the Isabelles have kind of discovered, but it's like a read, like a down throw fair. Then if you jump and you get hit by the next fair, it can lead to like 70%. But if you just DI away, then that doesn't work. So I feel like he's Devy is well versed in a lot of the Isabelle gimmicks, but Shamoo's just not falling for them.
Yep, but that said, Shamoo is getting hit a good bit in a lot of these scrambled or up-close situations. No jump there, so that's absolutely it.
Wow, already a better game for Debbie. Good start. This is what you want on your counter pick. You don't want to get hit by that forward smasher. Wow, he died.
That's interesting. I wonder if that was a case of 4DI or if Lucina's forward smash is just that strong. It could easily be either.
I didn't see the little lightning streaks, so like I feel like that was probably just improper DI.
All right, going to do a down throw, wait for the air dodge, punishes but does not get a strong punish. Now just going to sort of nair around. Shamoo is just trying to go in as hard as possible.
Yeah, he's really trying to just really pressure Debbie. He doesn't want him to set up his little, you know, doesn't want him to get any of his rotations going where he has him pressured into these Lloyd rockets and then up airs. And
yeah, honestly, I feel like Shamoo is getting hit a lot for basically two major things. One is poor spacing, and the other is poor timing. It honestly feels in a lot of these situations like he's just throwing out his sword. Or like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go for this air dodge read or the spade or something like that. But just doesn't get it in time. It just doesn't get it in the right situation. And that's allowing Debbie to do a lot because once those moves fail, then all of a sudden, Isabelle is right next to you and able to use some of her quicker options, some of her stronger options. Let's see if he gets the edge guard here. Does not get it. Dolphin slash too fast.
Yeah, either that or he's mistimed the reel in. I be that as it may, you know, he's in a kind of bad situation. Oh, that's gonna do it. Yeah, that's a good setup. A lot of what? I feel like I've seen a lot of kills this game that like wouldn't ordinarily kill somebody, but it's just.
Nah, I mean that one makes sense considering how close Shamoo was, and on top of that, the percent.
Yeah, he was at high percent, but. I'm not seeing the, what do you call it, the visual cues, right? The black lightning streaks. But we got a last stock situation here, and Debbie's really struggling to hold on to his tournament life here. I don't know if I agree with that.
Ooh.
Oh, we saw him try to set up again when he tried to get two in a row, you know, last stock situations.
All right, good stuff. Just going to get rid of the Lloyd rocket and make sure that it doesn't really do anything important. Ooh, pops the balloons, but Isabelle's going to get a little bit of a boost once the balloons are popped. And that's just enough to bring Debbie back to the stage. Going to try jumping around. Ooh, good stuff. Oh, that back air not going to take it. But that one will.
Second time's the charm. All right, so we got a 1-1 set here. We got a game.
See, now that was a beautiful scenario there because what happened was basically Isabelle was at, well, Debbie specifically was at roll distance, had the Lloyd rocket set up as well. So basically, Shamoo felt like his best option was to jump, and then Debbie was already there. And again, those are the situations where I think Isabelle excels the most. Isabelle excels the most when it comes to these ledge trapping situations.
Yeah, I concur.
All right, now let's see.
He's counterpicking him music, so, you know, when somebody counterpicks music, I always worry a little bit. I'm kidding. Actually, usually I play with headphones, so I like forget that counterpick music meta is actually a thing.
Yeah, no, I just listen to my own white noise.
Okay.
All right, going on to Battlefield now. Shamoo's counterpick. Any reason why you feel like Shamoo would pick the stage?
Maybe he is feeling the pressure of these forward airs and back airs from Isabelle. Maybe.
Gotcha. So he's trying to use the platforms in order to avoid those situations.
Yeah, there are situations where the platforms will like catch them instead, or maybe it's just a comfortability counterpick.
Right, and yeah, and it's also a good situation to, I guess, avoid some of these ledge traps. All right.
Yeah, give yourself another option. You know, give yourself some more dimensions. FD is a very like, I want to say two-dimensional, but you know, this game is also two-dimensional. So
right. All right, I'm gonna have to jump off. We got a match to play.
All right.
Yeah,
well, good luck.
See y'all later.
All right, so it's just me here, rocking out. So we got 3 stocks apiece. Both players, excuse me, are playing a bit conservative right now. Nobody really wants to commit too much which makes sense. Everything's on the line. Sometimes that affects how people interact with their opponents, you know? Ooh, that was definitely not an untechable, but I don't think he was prepared for the runoff reverse up B. And of course, if you are Shamoo, you want to try to build a working margin, maybe get some percent on. Only 10% though, because Isabelle's going to get that spike on the down air. And still a virtually even game. And wow, almost an actually even game, but of course we have Shamoo here putting on some percentage. Trying to separate himself from Devy, but really struggling to deal with this pressure, this long distance sort of zoning. He's kind of giving him fits right now. But once again, he's catching them with these up Bs. And of course, if you tech right there, you immediately get set up for a back air. So it's kind of like almost a trap. Like if you are going to tech, you kind of have to delay it, like what you're going to do. Or something, because otherwise you're going to immediately get hit by back air. Well, now, one thing you could do is, of course, use the pocket. Now, obviously, you can't pocket, you know, the back air, but oh my God, what an edge guard right there. But yeah, you can't pocket a back air, but Isabelle does have invincibility frames, so you can sort of use that to survive. But wow, this is actually an intense set all of a sudden. Oh, he forgot about that. Maybe that's why he picked the stage, because I cannot see the Lloyd Rocket to save my life. And wow, and Devy gets the edge guard, and that's going to do it. The weak hitbox is enough to take it. So good stuff to Devy, making the adaptations necessary.